You're tuning in to VNA News Daily Bulletin. Coming up next, as always, are our top stories.
President hopes for more investment from Japanese firms. Deputy Prime Minister requests quicker preparations for APEC 2017. GDP growth slides to 5.52% in first half.
President Trần Đại Quang has urged Japanese businesses to increase investment in Vietnam, especially in developing high-quality infrastructure and support industry.
At the reception for visiting President and CEO of Japan's Sojitz Corporation, Yoji Sato, in Hanoi on June 28th, the state leader urged Japanese firms to provide more support for Vietnam in human resources training, agricultural development, and climate change response. Vietnam will continue perfecting the legal framework and policies to create a favorable business climate for foreign investors, President Quang noted. He hailed Sojitz Corporation, one of the largest trading groups in Japan, for its contribution to Vietnam's socio-economic development since the country started its reform process. Yoji Sato said Sojitz Corporation's two industrial parks in the southern province of Dong Nai are welcoming Japanese investors in the support industry, warehousing, seaport, airport, and electricity. He revealed his firm's determination to continue expanding investment in Vietnam while wishing to receive more support and cooperation from local authorities to operate effectively in the country.
The National Committee for APEC 2017 convened in Hanoi on June 28th. Deputy Prime Minister Phạm Bình Minh chaired the event.
Deputy Prime Minister Minh requested more prompt preparations for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Leaders Meeting in 2017. He asked agencies and localities which will host big APEC events to accelerate the completion of their organization plans. The nearly 2-hour activities to be taken nationwide during the year, APEC 2017 will be the most important multilateral external event hosted by Vietnam after the 12th National Party Congress. The successful organization of the events is significant to promoting the country's image as a peaceful, stable, and friendly destination and an intensively integrated economy. Established in November 1989, APEC now comprises 21 economies. Vietnam joined the forum in 1998 and successfully hosted the 2006 APEC and the 6th APEC Human Resources Development Ministerial Meeting in 2014.
As part of his working visit to Belgium from June 25th to 29th, Vice Chairman of the Vietnamese National Assembly Uông Chu Lưu met with Vice President of the Parliament of the Federation Wallonie-Brussels, Isabella Emery.
At the meeting, Vice Chairman Liu reiterated Vietnam's consistent policy of enhancing the relationship with Belgium, an important partner of Vietnam in the European Union, and highly valued regular political meetings and high-ranking visits between two nations. He thanked the Belgian Federal Parliament and the Wallonie-Brussels Parliament for providing non-refundable aid for Vietnam, stressing that the assistance has been used effectively in such fields as clean water supply, education, state management, institution reinforcement, and healthcare. For her part, Isabelle Emery affirmed that the Federation Wallonie-Brussels Parliament and the Vietnamese National Assembly can bolster ties in official training and environmental management. The French-speaking community in Belgium will expand training assistance by offering scholarships for Vietnamese postgraduates, she said, noting that the region is also ready to share experiences in climate change response and urban transport management.
Vietnam and Liberia have signed a joint communique on the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries.
Speaking at the signing ceremony, Liberian Ambassador to China, Makili Thomas, said Liberia wants to promote bilateral cooperation, thus laying a foundation to enhance its economic integration in the region and the world. Deputy Foreign Minister Vũ Hợp Nam said the event will open up economic and trade collaboration opportunities and wished that Vietnam-Liberia ties will further progress. He described agriculture and telecommunications as promising fields in which Vietnam could invest in the West African country. With the signing, Vietnam has so far formed diplomatic ties with 53 African countries and 187 others worldwide.
We have more news coming up next. Stay tuned.
Vietnam posted a year-on-year GDP growth of 5.52% in the first half of 2016, down from 6.32% in the same period last year, the General Statistics Office announced on June 28th. The contraction was led by the global economic slowdown and the reduction in the country's agricultural output during the period. The GDP for the agro-forestry fishery sector slipped 0.18% compared to the 2.16% growth in 2015. This is the first time ever the sector witnessed a downturn due to the impacts of the cold spell in the north and the prolonged drought and saltwater intrusion in the south. The GDP in the industry and construction sector rose by 6.82%, lower than the 9.66% increase of the same period last year, as the mining industry slid 2.2%. Falling global oil prices also have had huge effects on the industry, as the price of crude oil crashed to its 13-year low to below $27 per barrel on January 20th this year. Meanwhile, the service sector hit the highest growth rate of 6.35% since 2012, with wholesale and retailing up over 8%, banking, finance and insurance up 6%, and real estate services up 3.77%, a 5-year high. Vietnam needs its GDP to expand by 7.6% in the remaining months for the goal of a 6.7% GDP growth in 2016 to be met, according to the office. The office asked the government, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and local authorities to urgently take measures to recover the agro-forestry fishery sector and provide support for areas affected by drought, saline intrusion and pollution.
Work on the Bun Sang Lake project in Ninh Kiều district in the Mekong Delta city of Cần Thơ began on June 28th using the World Bank's loans.
With total investment of nearly $10 million sourced from the World Bank's official development assistance sources and the locality's counterpart capital, the project is scheduled to be completed after 20 months of construction. It will focus on dredging 12.6 hectares of lake bed, building 2,830 meters of road and 2,500 meters of embankment surrounding the lake, along with separate rainwater and wastewater drainage systems, and water and electricity supply systems, and green space, among others. This is the last project within the Urban Area Upgrade Project in Mekong Delta region, Cần Thơ City sub-project. It aims to improve environmental sanitation, increase water reserves, and regulate water along the Bun Sang Lake, towards preventing flooding in the city's central areas and bettering living conditions for the locals. The project is also expected to make the city greener, cleaner, and more beautiful, thus attracting more visitors. Implemented from 2012 to 2017, the World Bank funded sub-project comprises of 30 construction package deals worth over $19 million. The districts of Cai Rang, Ninh Kiều, Bình Thủy, and U Mun are benefiting from the project.
The national oil and gas group PetroVietnam raked in more than $2.4 billion from selling 8.68 million tons of crude oil and condensate in the first half of this year, making up 37.1% of the yearly target.
During the reviewed period, the group provided an estimated 3.73 million tons of crude oil for the Dung Quất oil refinery, raking in $1.58 billion, equivalent to 38.13% of the target set for the whole year. It is expected to deliver 7.09 million tons of crude oil and condensate in the last 2 quarters of this year, including 3.5 million tons to the Dung Quất oil refinery. PetroVietnam said it has employed a host of measures to guard against the impacts of the global falling oil price since 2014. Timely investment projects have helped the group's member units overcome difficulties and create a firm foundation for its future operation. PetroVietnam grossed 560 trillion Vietnam dong, equivalent to $25.2 billion in revenues in 2015, despite global declining oil prices. Over the past 5 years, the group contributed over 836 trillion Vietnam dong, or $37.62 billion to the state budget.
The government has directed relevant ministries, sectors and localities to push forward with measures to ensure traffic safety in the third quarter after several serious accidents in the past 2 months. Accordingly, the Ministry of Transport is designed to examine accident-prone sites and take actions to correct them. Relevant agencies are required to strengthen supervision in road sections with steep slope, sharp bends and landslide-prone spots along the key highways through central and mountainous provinces. Ongoing transport infrastructure projects are to ensure a safe environment during their implementation in a bid to prevent accidents among traffic participants in the areas. The Ministry of Transport is also asked to tighten its supervision of the operation of means of transport both on roads, inland waterways and aviation. Central-level cities are asked to work closely with relevant ministries and sectors on increasing inspections and punishment of violations of traffic regulations. Hotlines should be launched to receive feedback from citizens to timely provide assistance or consultation on traffic management. The National Traffic Safety Committee is directed to form inspection teams to work with accident-prone localities. Significant increases in the number of new businesses and investments this year indicate improvements in confidence, driven by the government's efforts to improve the business climate and promote entrepreneurship. The following report provides more details. According to the Business Registration Department under the Ministry of Planning and Investment, more than 54,500 new firms were established in the first 6 months of this year, with total registered capital of 427.7 trillion Vietnam dong, equivalent to $19.1 billion, rising by 20% and 51% over the same period last year, respectively. Over $54 billion was poured into the economy in the first half of this year, 65% of which came from increases in the capital of existing firms, showing the willingness of investors to expand production and businesses. Sectors that attracted businesses' interest include property, mining, information and communications, and science and technology. Business confidence was improving significantly due to the impact of the law on enterprises and the law on investment, as well as the government's guidelines on improving the business climate and promoting an entrepreneurial spirit. In addition, the number of firms resuming operations touched a record high of nearly 15,000 firms in the first half of this year, increasing by 75.2% compared to a modest rise of some 2.2% in the same period of the 2 previous years. Still, the number of firms dissolved remained high, exceeding 5,500, an increase of 17% over the same period last year. And that was the end of our news bulletin. Thanks for watching. And as always, you can log on to our website at www.vietnamplus.vn for more information. Goodbye for now.